slight improvisation of the countdown today due to a slight technical hitch. But hey, we're up and running, and we've got a clock as well. And Alyssa's joining us. Hello, Alyssa.
Wonderful.
Oh, we'll come back to her.
How?
We can hear you, so everything's working fine.
Great.
And seeing as you're now you're completely tied up with your phone, so I think I'll do the tweeting out that we're live. Yes, hopefully Alyssa approves of this music more than the other stuff.
I don't think I'm ever going to say anything about the music again. Okay. Trying to figure out how to multitask here.
Yeah, same here. Well, it's my first one back, so plenty of opportunities for you to ask me any questions about my con experience. But of course, if you do want to talk about Boston Comic-Con, about the headlines that have happened over the last 7 days, and of course, if you are at Boston Comic-Con, let's see if we can find out where Alyssa is, so you can track her down and say hello.
Tag me on that tweet, Leonard, so I can retweet it, please.
Indeed.
So people don't have to look at me the entire time.
Yeah.
How's my volume? Would it be heavy breathing?
It's fine.
Great.
Yeah, we can tweak that once we're actually live. So.
Okay.
But yes, we've got a couple of viewers already. Welcome along. It's good to have you here. And of course, the Q&A is open as well. This music makes elevator music sound great. I like this music. It's jaunty. It's loud though, so let me see if I can do something about that. Not a great deal I can do about it at this point, but you know, just a little bit quieter, perhaps. There we go. So yes, if you do want to share and let everyone know that we're live, we're going to be heading over to Alyssa in about 5 minutes, and of course we'll be doing our very best to cover all the news of the last 7 days. As one or two people have been aware, there's been some interesting developments when it comes to broadcasting content from Comic-Con, so we're talking about that today as well. But we're about a minute or so away, so once again, if you want to jump in on the Q&A, we've got Craig Linders. Greetings from South Dakota. Looking forward to being at the virtual Boston Comic-Con. Hey. Well, hello from London. Now, Andrew is going to have to help me out with something, because apparently he's having issues with buying D23 gold tickets on his UK credit card, something that hopefully he'll elaborate on in the Q&A. So I'd really like to know what that's all about, because obviously that is something which affects international attendees to that very popular event. Hello, Barb Steigerwald. Hello, Barb. How are you doing? It's been a while since I've really spoken to you. Good to have you joining us. 29 countdown is almost complete. And I think we can fade that away.
Wonderful.
I thought so.
And I am making myself my way onto the floor just to let our viewers know, if we if for some reason I lose service, which it very well could happen because we've been having a problem with Wi-Fi and cellular service. I'll come back on in about 5 minutes as soon as I get to a reliable Wi-Fi spot. So Lenny's going to have to do a monologue and tell you all about his con experience. But I just wanted to...
I'll do what I can. I mean, if we could just very quickly go over to Alyssa. She is kind of wandering the floor as we speak at this point. So this is Boston Comic-Con, and we will return very quickly to her once we've done this bit of a brief intro. Welcome to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. I have my first cup of tea this particular season. I'm looking forward to this. Episode 2 of our particular run. I know that Alyssa held her own and did a great STCC episode last week. Do check that out on YouTube, SoundCloud, and iTunes if you did miss last week's episode. But it really was a great way to start off a new run. My name's Len Sultana, and each week we talk San Diego Comic-Con, con culture, and all the surrounding pop culture as well. So things that are happening in the world of conventions. At the end of the day, it is something which has exploded beyond even the organizers' wildest dreams and fantasies. So it's certainly something that justifies our existence on a Sunday, each and every week, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. We do get the chance every once in a while to do a live broadcast, and that's where we go over to my partner in crime, Alyssa Franks from the Friends of CC Forum. Now, we can't see Alyssa at this point. She's pointing the camera forward. But how are you doing, Alyssa?
I'm doing well. I'll see if I can get my do my face thing here. Yeah, just for the moment, so that I can do the intro piece. And it's not doing it. Nice.
Never mind. Never mind.
There we go. Here I am.
Oh, there you are. Excellent. So, how are you doing? Right. So, well, first things first. I mean, Boston Comic-Con. We won't go too much into details. Let's go over an overview at the moment. What's the con experience been like for you so far?
It's been tiring. I kind of slacked off on my SDCC fit despite last week's episode. I haven't been keeping up with it, so my legs are getting tired. I find that I've been walking about as much at this con as I did at San Diego. Primarily just in Artist Alley. I will say that the con floor probably has about as much. You could fit 4 of Boston Comic-Cons into one San Diego. To give you an idea about the fourth of the size of the San Diego floor, but the amount of artists is impressive. We've got Marv Wolfman, Frank Miller, Henry, Howard Chaykin, John Cassidy, Sam Keith. A lot of people have been really. He never makes an appearance, so his line has been outrageous. I mentioned John Cassidy, Snyder. So there's been a lot of tiring floor walking.
It does sound like it's some very big heavy hitters there. I mean, especially when you've got the people like Miller. Has that been
David Barney at the information booth? Yeah.
Oh.
They do announcements.
You're breaking up a bit there, Alyssa.
They do announcements here, which is what you heard there.
Yeah. So yeah, you say Frank Miller, is he sat behind a table? Is he actually meeting and greeting with fans at this point?
He was on Friday. You could buy a Frank Miller VIP pass, and variety of levels. I think there was $1,000, a $500, and then I want to say a $300 pass. You could get a variety of things signed. He did do some free signings of for people late in the day on Friday, but he was only here one day. I did get a chance to record his panel, see and record his panel with Azarillo. Azarillo. I've been messing up
right
his
first time.
name. Oh, good. Because that work. I've been practicing that name, which I've got up on my blog. A recording, a SoundCloud recording of his panel. I think the highlight was he was asked if what he thought of the BV Superman movie was, and he said, "I liked Wonder Woman." Yeah.
Okay, I think that's fair enough.
Exactly. So Friday really did belong to the creators. I'm going to flip the camera around because I'm tired of looking at me, and I'm sure everybody else would much rather look at the cosplayers. We'll head over to the cosplay booth in a bit. The cosplay area. There's some really amazing work that people have done and put into their costumes. Friday belonged to the creators and the writers. Got to see a Marv Wolfman panel. Saturday really did belong to the celebrity talents.
Okay.
So
I mean, the one thing that I have noticed in recent cons, and I certainly noticed it in San Diego and at Star Wars Celebration, in 2016, the Sunday is no longer a quiet day. Is that the case at Boston?
That is indeed the case. I didn't get any numbers. I'm just doing a little walkabout here. I haven't gotten any numbers. The attendance, and there we go. The Deadpool.
There's always one.
Really, there's always one. There's been quite a few Black Widows, of course. Sunday is busy. I wasn't expecting it to be. I was expecting it to be busier than normal, but I think that it's kind of. It seems like the attendance is kind of leveled off with regards to Boston Con. This is a cosplay space. New creation for Boston Con, in which they've got a whole area dedicated to cosplay. Again,
that's something that I appreciate. I mean, it's something that I think could be adopted by San Diego and indeed most cons. It's something that came up in a conversation online with the suggestion of a dedicated space. On the Sunday.
I'll come back as soon as the announcements are over. Wish they did not do announcements. It's rather annoying to have this huge booming voice when you're trying to have a conversation with somebody. There was an excellent cosplayer here earlier who has done Mr. Spock. And
oh, fantastic.
He's not here at the moment, but he was around, and hopefully before we get off the show, he will still be around. This is going to take a walk into the cosplay room so people can of what we have here. We have eyes, contact lenses, and makeup. We've got a variety of accessories, and pendants, and a few, and I'm just doing a slow pan around.
Well, I mean, I'm sure you'll appreciate that. I would like to see the wigs section of the cosplay floor.
We're getting there. I'm going over there.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just figured you'd kind of like these guys here. So, but it's a place, it's an area for cosplayers to hang out and look at different stuff for them, which is kind of nice. Not being a cosplayer myself.
Well, something that got discussed certainly at San Diego and has been a very prevalent thing in the summer conventions is the whole idea of the weapons check and also realistic weapons as part of cosplay. Has that been an issue at Boston at all?
There is a weapons check, but it doesn't seem to have been an issue. I haven't seen a lot of realistic weapons either.
Okay. People are making sense and shying away from those kind of cosplays.
Mm-hmm. We have also in this area, we have a gentleman, professional photographer who's taking pictures. Cosplayers can hire him to take professional pictures. And
that is what I would like to see more of at conventions.
Mm-hmm. As you can see, he's really working with a cosplayer to get the is correct, and he is directing.
It's working off a branded background, because then people could use that photo on their personal pages. But I can appreciate what they're trying to do and why they're doing it. But the fact that there's a professional setup is very encouraging.
Absolutely. I think it's a great service, and it really expands cosplaying into something that's and he's got a line of people.
I can imagine.
They're next in line. And here's the line idea that it is a hit at at this area. We've also got right next to it, we've got somebody's crossing in front of me. We've got costumes.
Plenty of Deadpools, plenty of Harleys.
Plenty of Deadpools, plenty of Harleys, and got a gentleman who's doing. Oh, he's enterprising gentleman who's got some fabulous masks.
Something I spotted online, and someone actually talked to me about them last night, is there's a group or an organization that attend conventions, which are cosplay repair engineers. Have you come across those at all? Because I think that's another great idea. They just wander around the floor and patch up cosplays as required.
I haven't, but what I did hear is that they were going to be doing a cosplay repair area through here.
Oh, fair enough.
And now we have the obligatory table of ears, all kinds of ears. We have aquatic elf ears. I'm sorry. friendsofcc.com / not handy. Sorry. And there I missed an opportunity. And then we have
I'm sure you can go back and reintroduce yourself.
Yes.
Who was it you were talking to? Maybe we could have had a chat.
He was a customer.
All right. Okay.
Looking at ears. And of course,
I'm guessing that. I'm hoping that's not the toilet.
No, I'm gonna peek inside.
Oh.
So it's a cosplay picture for all of the Doctor Who fans, and then again another picture area.
A bit of an attempt at green screen there.
Mm-hmm. So, and they've got some a bathlet Captain America shield too. So you've got the props, and now you're talking the swords, cosplay weapons.
It's quite an advanced setup. It's slightly more than I expected it to be. That's fantastic.
Exactly. That's why I was so impressed with this area and wanted to mention it. This gentleman is showing me. Oh, and this is an interesting thing. What he does is he makes 3D prints, I believe, and he's doing.
Right. That's it's a full 3D scanner.
Exactly.
Or photography scanner, anyway.
Yep. So, and he's saying, I believe that his work will be ready in 3 to 4 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's taking it to a whole other level, that is.
Yeah. This is the card for it. And just to give folks an idea about the price, I'm going to try and be steady.
We'll try and put the information. If you can gather that together, we'll put that in the show notes for the episode.
Great. I need one of these. Thanks. And I believe this is what they're taking a picture of.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. They take the renderings. And so 3, 5, and this. And then you've got the super big ones, which I'm going to have a hard time see. So that's actually very cool. I they were doing with it. I do information if anybody wants it later on.
We'll definitely put that in the show notes. That looks so cool. A 3D maquette of your own cosplay. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. And it's right at Con. You know, you could get that done. You can get photographs done. I know that there's a repair place in here someplace. It was advertised, but they really are. We've got an area in here for cosplayers to get ready.
Excellent stuff. Right, yep. So let's talk about the rest of the con as well, because there you go. That's cosplay, very much covered. But let's talk about what else has been available at Boston. Is it very much a exhibition floor heavy event, or does it have panel rooms as well?
It does have panel rooms. There have been, and again, I'm back out on the show floor. And I can certainly take a walk up to the panel rooms now in a few minutes. Primarily, it is about the show floor. I mean, this is the major con for the entire year. So the majority of, while you do have people that come and are regular con goers, the majority of people who come are, I hesitate to say weekenders, but they either they're coming with their husband, or they're this is, you know, they've only been to 1 or 2 cons, so they really are coming to buy stuff. So
I mean, I had someone mention to me on Twitter that he felt very much that Boston Comic-Con was like the big fish in a small pond. Does that kind of make sense, that there isn't that many events in that neighborhood to kind of for the con attendees in that vicinity?
Exactly. It really is the event of the year in Boston for convention goers, with the talent that they have in terms of comic creatives. It's amazing. There's 1 or 2 other cons here during the year that people, sorry, here I am missing an opportunity for visuals. Oh no. So consequently, people really go all out with this amazing, you get these amazing little vignettes of Wonder Woman, Batman, and mini Captain America.
So you say it's very strong in terms of the comic stuff. What's it like in terms of the rest of the pop culture?
In terms of celebrities, we've got quite a few celebs and TV folk. Karen Gillian, not Kieran, but Karen. They have the women of the WB So they've got a bunch of an Arrow and Tomorrow women. I think that they're doing photo ops and panels for them. We did have William Shatner yesterday.
Yes, I understand he showed up as a kind of surprise guest on a panel.
Well, no, he actually was to be the primary guest on the William Shatner Q&A panel that was sold to the VIP members. He came on and did 15 or 20 minutes and then got an award from the mayor of Boston and thought he was done. So
wow.
There seemed to have, yeah. So
Short
a lot
and
of
sweet.
people, yeah, a lot of people were really kind of disappointed that they didn't get their questions answered. I'm going to venture down Artist Alley, just a little ways. Let me know if my signal goes, okay?
Will do. Yeah, it's very, to be honest, when I remember looking back at the other cons and the reports of the other cons of the year, cosplay didn't seem like a very big element. This, it just looks, I mean, I don't know if it's a Sunday thing, but there's loads.
It very cosplay centric.
Well, I think it's very much a case of people getting the opportunity, I suspect.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. They work all year on their costumes. I will also mention that it is about 95 degrees outside and humid. A lot of people who are sweating quite a bit. And over on my right, I have...
Oh, signal's breaking out at this
Bernie
end.
Wrightson.
Say that again, Alyssa?
Bernie Wrightson.
Ah, yes. I'm aware of his work.
So I would wanted to, who's been an absolute sweetheart and a real gentleman throughout the entire con. I was able to get a signature from him. I do have Nick Bradshaw. Are you familiar with his work?
Yes, I am.
He has said that he's a very personable gentleman and has said that if he wasn't busy, he'd say a few words. So I am moving my way over. So get your questions prepared, Leonard.
Oh, fair enough.
He's currently talking with a gentleman who's looking at some of his art. And just for people who aren't aware, let's move this out. I absolutely adore. I love his work. I am thinking about buying one or two, which, considering everything else I've bought, it will be a problem. So let me talk with him.
How have you done in terms of your spending this time round?
Getting signatures on my that's primarily what I do at Boston Comic-Con, is Boston Comic-Con poster, and I just get it signed by a lot of people. I try not to spend too much money, but I always end up, this is one of the cons that gets a lot of my money. I'll show you a book that I got, a 20-pound book that I got of Frank Miller, not original, but scans of his original artwork. So Nick is working on a sketch at this point. So would you like to, let me get, I'll wait for him to finish up his conversation. And
would it be easier to come back, perhaps? Or shall we just leave him to it? Because he does look very much busy with his sketch.
And so that's primarily what I do in terms of my signatures, is get that poster signed, because if I were to go through and pick out comic books and try and get them all signed. It would take way too much time and effort on my part, to be honest with you. So I tend not to at this point, and just for this con, just concentrate. I do have a picture of it up. I posted it last night. The only additional signatures that I got this morning were Amanda Connor. I've forgotten her. Palmetti, I think, is his.
Palmiotti.
Palmiotti.
That's the other half.
The other half. We have Frank Lloyd, not Frank. We've got Lloyd, David Lloyd, and Nick Schultz. You guys are really trying all of my
your names. Yeah, I appreciate
Schultz.
That. Actually, David Lloyd there. If you want to go back to David, if you want to say thank you very much indeed for appearing on my panel, if he's there. Anyway, but certainly one thing what was I going to do? I was going to ask very quickly. I know we've got some people watching live. If you want to jump in on the Q&A and just let us know what the picture and the audio stream for Alyssa is like, because I'm getting a lot of cutting out at my end, but it may be okay going out live. So if you could just let us know what the quality's like.
And I will try and stay back here, which I think the signal is a little bit better. Is it more stable now?
Certainly for the audio, yes.
Okay. I'm going to try and go up to the panel room so people can get an idea. I believe the signal will be better out of the convention floor, and we'll probably be able to get some good cosplay folks. Basically where we started the show from, this same area. And I'm just taking a walk through the back part of the room. I didn't go towards the front at all.
I would say it's looking like a very young audience. I don't know if that's a Sunday thing at Boston, but it does look like a very young audience attending.
Mm-hmm. It is, in general. There's not a lot of, there's not a lot of the old comic book types. And I think that that's primarily because of the cosplay. We do have a film festival that's occurring at this point. Rooms in through here. This is the escalator that we just came up from. This is the one level up from the convention. Oh, the second floor escalator not working. Oh, so I actually have to use stairs. Not a good thing at the last day of con.
Right.
And then we come up to the amphitheater, the third and final level.
What's the size of the main arena at Boston?
That was where I was going, and I am not sure. It's probably in the neighborhood of 1,000 seats for the main panel room.
So it's not massive in terms of.
No.
It's a very intimate, if anything. No, you seem to have frozen completely at my end now. Are you there? Okay, we may have to come back to Alyssa. We'll see if we get any kind of reclaimed image back. I know that it's very spotty in terms of the signal there. Just about here in the background, but at my end, certainly the picture is frozen. So hopefully we got a little bit more of a sense of that, and hopefully she'll come back to us when she's got more of a signal. Right, just to very quickly talking about something that I was talking with one or two people before we came on air, and also just at the beginning of the show, and this was regarding D23 taking place next year, of course. I did actually get a couple of people mixed up, and I do apologise. I said Andrew. In actual fact, I was meaning Graham Small, who was in fact trying to apply for a D23 gold ticket. Jason Coe responded, according to the D23 help page, international fans should be able to join D23 gold to the website https d23.com/help.com. Do check out that website. Although it does say what Graham is basically talking about. Let's have a look if I can just find it. I've been trying to buy Gold 23 membership on the Disney site for a few days now. I registered my account and entered my UK debit card as default payment. I've tried a few times now to check out with single membership and family membership, but each time I get sale decline. With the address not lining up with the card authorizer, which is nonsense. I can only think it's looking for a US address rather than UK. Haven't yet contacted Disney support. Yeah, Graham, you're going to have to let us know how you progress with that, considering that it does seem to be something that would be of interest, certainly for those intending. Now, Jason Coe is saying that if a workaround, if UK folks still can't buy D23 gold passes, have a US friend gift you a gold membership. You can do that at d23.com membership-information and select the gift option. It's one way to do it, I suppose. I'm going to be interested in, because D23 is a con which I will be looking forward to trying to apply for, and very much up for that. So we're looking like we're back with Alyssa, who seems to have a slightly stronger signal outside. It doesn't look like the convention centre was your enemy on that one, Alyssa.
Wonderful, wonderful. I figured that I would be able to get a decent signal here. I'm at the same, just so people can understand the lay of the land, I'm at the same level that I left you on. I walked through those, down this huge long corridor here, and am now, as I turn around, on top of the road that runs in front of the convention center. In a moment, you'll see
so you do actually enter from the top of the convention?
Well, you can, but you can also, the main entrance is right down here, right below me, to the convention center, in through those doors. So you can also go in. Actually, I got my time all turned around. It was on the other side. But the point being is that you can get from the convention center to the main hotel, which is this one over here, and these two hotels to stay at. These are all 3-star hotels, and of nicer quality. So you do end up paying about $250 a night.
Okay, that's not cheap.
No, it isn't, unfortunately.
Okay, I'll tell you what, if you can flip the camera around and face you, so we can have the convention in the background. Let's have a chat with you, shall we?
That sounds fine. I actually was going to go over to the hotel place to sit and chat, if you don't mind.
Well, while you do that, we'll put you on mute then, and
okay.
we'll cover some of the happenings that have happened over the last 7 days. Okay. We'll let you do that. We'll let you wander off, and I'll also put you on as well. Right. So Alyssa Franks is now going to head over to the hotel on the other side of the sidewalk, away from the convention center. Hopefully we'll get ourselves a strong signal so she can actually talk to us about what she's seen and done this weekend. Right, while she's doing that, let's talk about some of the Comic-Con news that's happened this week and relating directly to San Diego Comic-Con. This may be of interest for you if you weren't attending Comic-Con this year, and if you experienced San Diego through YouTube videos of the panel rooms and also the interviews that had taken place at the event. One of our personal favorites of providing content, and indeed, if you look at their numbers which they gather, does very well indeed, is Flicks in the City. This is actually two people, Jan and Ed, that supply this footage and upload it to a YouTube account. It's always of extremely high quality, and for those people who can't make it into Hall H, it's a great way to experience the content up on stage. They never show the concept art on the screens. They never show the trailers. It is all about the panel content and the people talking up on stage. However, at the beginning of the week, Flicks in the City and all their videos, it seemed, had completely vanished from their channel. I was particularly concerned by this because they were there a couple of days before, and I wanted to do a recap of Hall H, but the clips had disappeared, and the links have disappeared as well. As it happens, Jan and Ed were returning back from the States after an extended holiday. They'd been in the US for a further 2 weeks after San Diego, understandably. But this is where, before they left, they discovered that they had 10 copyright strikes against their content and were facing some very serious repercussions on their channel. And when they returned to the UK, discovered that there was a further 70 strikes against their channel, which meant that within 7 days, YouTube would be closing down the Flicks in the City channel entirely. Now, these copyright strikes were put up against the video content by Lionsgate and Comic-Con International. Lionsgate are the is the company behind Comic-Con International. Comic-Con International is the video-on-demand service which has been put up in connection and collaboration with Comic-Con International. At which point, a lot of people got very frustrated, very angry at the fact that these fine supporters of the Comic-Con community had had their content removed. People who had not attended obviously wanted to see the footage, and those people that were just generally supportive of Flicks in the City were just very concerned about the fact that somebody who had recorded this content up on stage, like a lot of other people do, including some major suppliers like IGN, also recording from people in the audience, basically were being targeted by Comic-Con International. Jan did set up a Save Flicks in the City hashtag and basically marshaled the army. I can tell you now from personal experience, if there's one person I don't think I would ever want to upset on social media, is Jan Gilbert from Flicks in the City. She absolutely marshaled all the efforts and got everyone involved in supporting Flicks in the City. Obviously, a lot of people tagging Comic-Con International and Comic-Con HQ in their posts. As it happens, I spoke to a number of people, a couple of contacts from inside Comic-Con International, and got the bit of the story from their end. As it happened, there was somebody who was taking Comic-Con HQ footage from the stage of the activation outside the Hilton Bayfront and uploading it to their own channel as their own. At which point, Comic-Con HQ then subcontracted a third-party internet expert to take down those videos and search and destroy for their own content. Off the back of their own initiative, they then went after other channels and other content which wasn't in their remit. At the end of the day, the stuff that's recorded on red carpet and interview rooms is fully the purview of the people recording it, the press invitees. So those panels were certainly not under jurisdiction. The reason why there is the grey line was down to the fact that in the official terms and conditions, people aren't allowed to record the panel content gain, which at the end of the day, if you monetize the channel, that's what you're doing. However, Comic-Con HQ did turn around to YouTube because they have strong ties and strong connections with that company and insisted that all the strikes were taken down. And indeed, I believe it was yesterday morning or maybe even the day before, Flicks in the City was completely back up and running. It was a bit scary for a little while there, and understandably for people, and I did actually have one or two people asking me why I should care and why you should care. at the end of the day, if you're recording content, just videoing on your phone, at the end of the day, the last thing you need is an organization taking down your footage for copyright and basically trying to be the blanket provider for an event like San Diego Comic-Con. Comic-Con HQ have fully accepted that they were in the wrong and instantly moved and marshaled their efforts to make sure that Flicks in the City were exonerated. I'm pleased and proud to say that Flicks in the City is now back up and running. Do check out Flicks in the City on YouTube for all of their coverage of San Diego Comic-Con 2016. The content of the people that I spoke to at Comic-Con HQ were very apologetic and heartbroken at the thought that they would be messing with the community at large. They do want to stress that they didn't intend this to happen, and they've also turned around and said that they are looking forward to talking to us about that, as well as what happened at Comic-Con HQ in the next couple of months. So we will be joined by either Seth Lederman or Joe LaFabi. Hopefully we'll get Seth to join us to talk about Comic-Con HQ. That's 2016's off-site event outside of the Hilton. So excellent stuff indeed.
That would
all good news all round.
That would be wonderful to hear.
Yeah, what was the response on the forum? Was there any chatter about it there, Alyssa?
Little bit, but thankfully Con TV has, and they've stepped up and realized that they were kind of they had overstepped the boundaries, because if we as creators are going to be limited by something, a non-proprietary a movie clip, if we can't record those things, this whole subculture of fandom and folks that are creating stuff and getting people interested in it would have had a devastating blow. And I'm really glad that they're stepping back from this and realize that that there was an overstep that took place, because it would have been devastating for all of us, not just Flicks in the City. But if people try to come and swoop in and take all of this content that's essentially fan generated by fans for fans.
Yeah.
So it's great to hear.
The one thing that Jan very much discovered when she announced and she put a video up describing the situation, the one thing that she found was it was all the individual fandoms, the Supernatural fandom, the Arrow fandom, all of these people who relied on Flicks in the City coverage to see, for those people who were either outside the country, were unable to get badges, whatever, this was their portal into those panel rooms. So I think it was a good move on Comic-Con HQs to dial back their efforts against Flicks and the City. That might as well get the title right. Do check out Flicks and the City on YouTube. So there we go.
Well, it seems as though that they didn't initiate it. They initiated it against this one person, and then there was an overstep by somebody who's not in the community and who didn't understand the rabid fan base that they're dealing with. And all organizations certainly understand, all convention organizations certainly understand the rabid fan base, but it's not that well understood by the more commercial marketing and
I
PR
think this
firms.
could actually be this will, I suspect, be an object lesson for a lot of companies.
Yes.
A lot of organizations. So yeah, that's the reason why I certainly think it is newsworthy, because it was certainly something which could have been a very divisive situation, but thankfully all sorted. Right, so let's return back to Boston Comic-Con before we do wrap things up today. So from what we can gather, it's very much a big fish in a little pond, but can still attract a massive talent base in terms of the comic creators. You mentioned very briefly about the film and the television, the pop culture stuff. Does that attract the attention, or is it very much comic based when it comes to the people?
The pop culture, there's two, you addressed two subjects. One was the films, and there is an independent film track that goes along a similar track to San Diego, which had a
Oh,
lot of
so like
interest.
like their independent film festival, yeah?
Exactly. So there certainly are a lot of those interesting films going on and being played. I did not get to see one of them, because like San Diego, it's so you have to focus on your particular track. With regards to the celebrities, there are quite a few, and I am
Sure.
also reading through the trying desperately to read through the celebrity appearances. I know that I've signed up for the guy in Gotham, whose name is escaping me. Once again, I am being name challenged, and here I had all of the comic creators, but
You mean Ben
I am
McKenzie by any chance?
Yes, I do. Thank you, Leonard. What would I do without you? So we had William Shatner, we had Frank Miller, we've got Katie Lotaz. She was in Arrow and is currently in Legends of Tomorrow. We have Danielle Panbaker. She's in
Baker
Flash.
from the Flash,
Yeah.
yes.
Friday the 13th. We've got Elizabeth Henstridge, a lovely, lovely lady. Sweetheart, Ben McKenzie, who, as I've already mentioned, Karen Gillian, who I mentioned before. Let's see if I can get to somebody.
Gillian Anderson, I understand, is there, or was there as well. She's always a good draw.
John Barrowman was here. I didn't get to see his panel last night. And then William Shatner and Frank Miller. So that's pretty much.
Certainly the panel that I've been hearing a lot about has been the Jenna Coleman and Karen Gillan panel, purely because there is just, although they were two separate Doctor Who companions, there's this strong bond between the pair of them as kind of like veteran Doctor Who appearances. And I've been hearing great things about their panel, so looking forward to seeing any video of that.
I unfortunately I didn't get tickets to that. How Boston has it set up is the tickets are free to the panels, however, to the celebrity panels. However, you need to get them before the show. So they went on sale, so to speak, last week, and timed sales. So they would have a Katie Lotaz. Mispronouncing the name again. Her tickets would go on sale at like 5 o'clock, and somebody else's tickets would go on sale at 9 o'clock that day. And so they didn't get the server hits that some other places would get if they released them all at once.
Is it like a kind of combination between San Diego Comic-Con and that Nerd HQ setup, where it's an online scrum for tickets, except they're free?
It could be, yeah. No, that's a good analogy. But just to give people an idea, Katie Lotez, her autographs were $40 and her photo op was $50. We've got Danielle Panbaker, again $40 and $50 for the photo op.
Yeah, that's looking like the kind of ballpark price for the vast majority. It's only when you start hitting your your Gillian Anderson and your William Shatners of the world where you start getting a little bit pricey.
Karen Gillian is $55 for an auto and $60 for a photo op. Jenna Coleman is $50, $55 and $60. Gillian was $60 and $60 for that. The only person I heard that they had real problems in terms of scheduling was the Shatner one. So there are the question that you originally asked was, is there a strong pop culture component to this? And absolutely there is, but it still recognizes its fan base, which is comics. And the writer, all of Friday was really focused on the writers of comics, not so much the artists. And So that was really nice to see from my perspective, because everything stems from the page. If you have
Sure.
good content on the page, you're going to get good art, and you're going to get good actors, and you're going to it will get a good product at the end.
Cool. How's your experience been then? Have you found it positive? Have you found it worthwhile?
Yes. I mean, it's a local con, so it's one of my favorites to come to and enjoy. You know, it's the hotel is right across the street. I know how to get rooms here. The restaurant is good. They had this amazing seared scallops and corn chowder thing, which was wonderful.
Okay, you can stop right there. I haven't eaten today. I'm starving, so we'll leave that there.
Exactly.
Excellent.
I will say, just on a wrap-up note, traveling with a 16-year-old and his friend who is a picky eater and a vegetarian is annoying.
Ooh,
So
lovely.
I wouldn't recommend that at all.
Okay. Well, seeing as I don't usually take 16-year-olds along with me because I'm still on the watch list. Apparently, well, I think I'm safe, so don't worry about it. That was a joke, by the way. Just to let you know. If you could pick a highlight then of one highlight of the weekend so far, because I know that you've still got time yet. You can go back in. Highlight so far, though.
The Frank Miller panel. Absolutely. That was both him and Azarillo were humorous, dry, on point, witty. So that's a highlight. I will tell one other quick story. I was at the breakfast downstairs in the hotel restaurant. I sat down. I never eat breakfast. Howard Chaykin comes in. It sits down next to me in the table next to me. I don't say a word. I acknowledge. I say, I wave and say hi because I know, of course, who he is. American Flag was one of my favorites back in the day when that comic came out in the late 90s or mid 90s. And he didn't say a word. And I didn't say a word. I let him have his space. And then he kind of leans over and he's like looking at all of my paraphernalia, my bags, my con bags and all of that. He's like, the monetarization of con culture, I just can't get behind that. I'm paraphrasing, of course. So it was just a really nice inner, really nice little story.
Into that conversation?
I did get a little bit into the conversation with him, but it was right before the con opened, so we couldn't get very much farther with it because we both had stuff to do. But of course,
now I've got the mental image of you and Howard Chaykin, hand in hand, just wandering off the convention center.
Not quite, but he's a very nice gentleman, and drink and draw that occurred on Friday night, in which everybody was, all of the creators were in the they took over the restaurant and had a massively fun time, just drawing and talking with fans. Even Brian Azarillo came in at one point. He didn't, of course, draw anything, but it was nice that there was so much. It was just easy with the fans. I think Stan Sakai did this fabulous sketch in 20 minutes and just said here and left.
Fair enough.
So it's been a very, to answer your question, it's been a very nice con. I will be back, and I would encourage other people to come if they're interested in visiting Boston. It's in an urban situation on the subway, so you can absolutely do the con, see the city, rent a car, get outside of the city, visit New England.
Okay. Do you have dates set already for next year, or is that to be announced at the end of this event?
I don't know. I don't have those dates currently. I'm just praying it isn't the week after San Diego. Please.
Well,
Just
Yes, I think a lot of
don't
people
do
are
that.
praying that a lot of things start happening the week after San Diego. But
after
I've got a
D3.
couple of questions. I've got a couple of questions on the Q&A, just very quickly. Actually, probably just literally just a couple, but certainly from Jason Coe. Was there no salmon talk from Shatner?
No. Okay, that's a story. That's a story. Remember in the Star Trek panel at San Diego, there was quite a bit of kumbaya, holding people's hands and save the salmon, you know. So no, there was none by Shatner. As a matter of fact, he spent 15 minutes, the only 15 minutes that he was speaking to the audience. He spent it almost exclusively talking about sports, the Patriots, the baseball, and I'm like, go sports, you know.
Well, you know
yes,
you know this is only because the 100 is on hiatus at the moment. But there we go.
Yeah. Anyway, I did
He has
put
to,
that.
he has to fixate on something. So
I did put it up on my blog yesterday, but it's basically Shatner talking about sports. The keys to the city, or the Shatner Day, was nice, and it was a nice touch by Mayor Marino to do.
So thumbs up, Boston Comic-Con.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Excellent.
5 thumbs up.
Oh, good grief. Okay, excellent stuff. Thank you very much indeed for that, Alyssa. She's going to head back into the con now. If you want to try and catch hold of her, she is going to be wandering around. No doubt. I mean, where is your next port of call? Have you got anything planned?
I think I'm going to try to get into the Ben McKenzie panel. I've got tickets for that, so that's my next port of call. So I'll be walking straight back over the bridge and into the convention center.
Okay.
So I will leave you now, if you don't mind, and see you next week. I hear we have a guest.
We do indeed. Yes, let's do that wrap up quickly. So thank you very much indeed to Alyssa for joining us from Boston Comic-Con. Next week, we are going to be joined by a special guest indeed. One of the big activations at San Diego this year was Carnival, Camp Carnival, as put together by Geek and Sundry and Nerdist at the, oh, no, away she goes. So it just leaves me to announce it. Yeah, so at the Petco Park, Carnival was put together, where there was a nice staged area where they had fantastic guests throughout the course of the weekend. They also had a laser tag section set up at the back corner. You had lots of little bits and pieces around Petco Park, and it really was a fun way to get into San Diego Comic-Con offsite. The one thing I actually could say is it was the true oasis of San Diego Comic-Con. I know Entertainment Weekly wanted that to be their domain, but they set up a little bit too far out of the way for my liking, and Petco Park is right in the center of downtown. So there it was. And the great thing about that, it was put together by Nerdist and Geek and Sundry, which meant they had all of their friends showing up to take part. Editor-in-Chief Rachel Hine from Nerdist will be joining us next week to talk about Carnival, what it took to put that event together, highlights of the offsite, and just what it means to be a massive activation in somewhere like Petco, especially when people do talk about San Diego Comic-Con using Petco Park. What it actually takes to use Petco. Nerdist know, Rachel knows, and she'll be talking to us about that on next week's show. We're live 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT, so hopefully you can join us for that. I know that a lot of people will be wanting us to do a little bit more on the Disney D23 situation, especially for internationals. I'm going to do a little bit more research into that, so Graham, if you want to help me out with that, that'd be great if we can kind of coordinate our efforts and find out exactly what the situation is with those badge tickets, those badge purchasing. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Again, thanks to Alyssa for joining us live from Boston Comic-Con. Hope you enjoyed that slight glimpse into what looked to be an immense event in Boston. And hopefully we'll see you next week for another Talking Comic-Con, cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. Take care.